Yo, what up? It's your boy Trapp Tarell, and I'm about to upload a couple reactions on the page for a little while this month. So we about to do this reaction to, I guess this girl got like a horror friend story. You know what I mean? Say who the F were my friends. So we finna check this video out. Y'all make sure you subscribe. We headed to the 1 million subscribers on this page, so make sure y'all subscribe, hit the bell, and you know, all that cool shit. Make sure you comment, leave a like, and let's see what we got here. I'm gonna make it big for y'all.
The fuck were my friends, part 1.
Hold on, let me turn her up. Shout out
Who the
to
fuck were my friends, part 1. I had a huge friend group my freshman year of high school, and we broke up in a crazy way. I got hazed. That was fun, and I've always wanted to tell the story. It's been years, and I still think about it from time to time. Yeah, it was a very traumatizing time in my life. Growing up, I didn't have many friends. I didn't have any besties, especially in middle school. I was bullied viciously in middle school, and I would honestly spend most of my free time and lunch in the library. The librarian was my best friend. My 8th grade year of middle school, my parents moved the entire family to a predominantly white area. Big new house, huge neighborhood. I'm talking multiple entrances. The neighborhood is bigger now. I don't live there anymore. But at the time when I was living there, they were starting to build the 4th entrance. There were 3 entrances into the neighborhood. It was huge. Big new school, really nice school. And I was just excited to start my new life because I wanted a new group of friends. I needed a new scenery. I was tired of being alone all the time. I was sick and tired of being bullied. I was in that very awkward in-between stage of life. And I saw this move as an opportunity.
She talking about 7th and 8th grade.
To my first day of school, I get to the bus stop. I realize that I'm one of the only black kids at the bus stop. And when I get on the bus, I'm one of the only few black kids at the bus. Like I said, it's a predominantly white area. So in my school, I was part of like a handful of black students that were the only black kids in the school for like the first 1 to 2 years of, you know, just me living in that area. Later on, more black kids and more people of color started moving down to my old area. But at that time, my freshman and sophomore year of high school, me and like a handful of other black kids were the black kids that went to that school. There was barely any black kids there. But going back to my first day of school, I noticed I'm one of the only black kids at the bus stop. I get on the bus and I sit next to the first black girl that I see. We're gonna name her Samantha. We start chatting a little bit. She also recently moved to the neighborhood. We started talking about how, like, you know, we're like one of the few black kids and we're kind of excited to see each other. What I thought was solidarity talk, not knowing she'd become one of my fucking biggest ops while I was at that school. I go through school the entire day. I'm going through classes. I honestly feel like a black dot in a sea of milk. Like, it was so awkward, like, my first few weeks at that new school, because even though I went to a pretty diverse elementary school, my middle school was majority black. It was mostly black kids. So it was a bit of like a culture shock, but I soon got used to that. First year of school ends, I get on the bus and I go to the back of the bus. Most of the friend group that I was in, we're all sitting at the back of the bus. They start talking, we start like connecting, and like we all add each other on social media, specifically Snapchat. And we had a Snapchat group name that was our neighborhood name and fam. So purposes of privacy, I'm just gonna call it Winslow Fam. That was the group chat name. There was at least 10 people in our friend group. It was a mixture of boys and girls, people in a higher grade, people in a lower grade. That's just how it was. At least 5 people that were in the friend group got off at my stop, and I got really close to them, especially with this guy. I'm gonna call him Weasley because he was in a grade higher than me, and on top of that, I thought he was cute. I had a crush on him, and our houses were close to each other, so we would walk down and like just talk. That motherfucker, though, turned on my ass. Just let me get there. So that would be my routine. We'll talk, we'll snap each other, we'll talk in these group chats, we'll go to each other's houses, basically getting really comfortable with each other. In the neighborhood, in that friend group, in the neighborhood, there were 4 main black kids that were in that friend group, which was myself, Samantha, we're gonna call this kid Leviathan, and his sister Elizabeth. Elizabeth and Leviathan lived on the...
How is she coming up with these names? Is Leviathan? That's that nigga name, man. Ain't no way. She said her name a second ago and it was insane. Leviathan is crazy. How is she gonna remember Leviathan when she making a fake name?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
second pickup. Like the second pickup, like I said, there were 3 entrances, so 3 times that the bus had to stop in my neighborhood to pick up kids. They lived at the second stop. They were one of the black kids that were living in the neighborhood for the longest at the time, and they were one of the first people who, you know, started this little friend group and everything. So especially Elizabeth, I'd go to her and I'd talk to her and would snap each other. I thought I was getting close with her. Thoughts. Especially when it comes to Elizabeth, because I really thought she was my friend, because like I said, growing up in school, like especially middle school, I was bullied. I was always in the library. I was a big reader. And when I found out that she also loved reading books, I was so excited. There were a couple other people in the friend group that I didn't really like them that much. One girl, we're going to call her Texas. Spoiled little bitch. Let me watch my mouth. Spoiled little individual, okay? She had a uncle that had money, and let's just say she was spoiled a lot, and honestly, she was a fake friend to my best friend, and we're gonna call my best friend that was also in the friend group that I'm still best friends with to this day. We're just gonna call her... What do I call her without giving her away? We're gonna call her Mary.
There's no way she been making these names up. I forgot every name she made up, except for Levita. But I don't know what part Levita played.
We're just gonna call her... What do I call her without giving her away? We're gonna call her Mary. Another girl that I really didn't like in the friend group, we're gonna call her Lorax. She becomes a big problem later on. We have the Bama twins, 2 people that snuck their way into the group that no one really liked, but kept on sitting with us, a lot older than us, and kept on starting problems. We're just gonna call them the Bama twins. Let's just say Clark Kent, a little white boy that was very fucking messy. You would not think he was messy just by his looks off alone, but very fucking messy. We have Steven, who was in the friend group, but really not. He was a bit of a troublemaker, so we tried not to talk to him that much because he was always in and out of trouble. And those are the people that I can think of off the top of my head. Months go by, I'm getting into the routine of talking with people, navigating just relationships in that friend group, navigating school, being one of the only few black kids in that school, dealing with micro and macroaggressions from my other students, and honestly, some of the teachers as well. Dealing with issues in that friend group, because my God, they were some of the fakest people in that friend group, Jesus. When it came to Texas and Lorax, they literally started problems all the damn time. They would always talk about other people in the friend group, talk about other people in the friend group to me or to other people, and then it would cause drama, and then they would fight on Snapchat, and people would leave the group chat.
I'm not gonna lie, she gave a lot of names. She gave so many names that I don't know who is who. She gave a lot of names. Like, it's a lot of niggas in this story. You know, 10 people in a group chat is a lot, though.
Chat and then have a
you know some bullshit gonna happen.
Always causing drama, always talking smack about someone. Especially when it came to my best friend, Mary. It would be a problem because it would seem like everybody would gang up on Mary all the time, and it just didn't seem fair. When it comes to Samantha, like I said, she became my biggest freaking biggest fucking hater. Thought we were going to be great friends. Like I said, the first black kid.
Huh?
I would get you the chicken nuggets friend. I just didn't want to walk in with you.
Oh, you can walk in?
But sat next to the bus, first black kid that I saw, tried to latch onto her. Turns out she was doing a lot of shit talking, especially after the situation that I'm going to tell you guys about soon. She was always talking smack about me to Leviathan. Ended up confronting her in the bathroom. I would say about 2 to 3 months after, I think a year after that situation that I'm about to tell you about, because that hazing situation I'm going to have to break down. It might even be in part 2 because it's a long story. But like I said, I'm navigating my friendships with these people, navigating being one of the only few black kids in the school, dealing with many dramas here and there, people arguing, people fighting. I would say the people that I thought I was closest to in that friend group would be Weasley. Like I said, I had a little bit of a crush on him, and like he lives close with me. Marie. And what did I call her? Elizabeth, because she also liked reading, so much so that I lended her my copy of Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. If you're a book reader and you grew up reading books, especially in the 2010s, you know exactly what book I'm talking about. I thought we were close. There was also a lot of anti-black issues when it came to the black kids in the friend group. Like I said, I went to a predominantly white school and did deal with microaggressions all the time, but it also seemed like the black kids in the friend group allowed things to slide, allowed racial jokes to pass, would get mad at me when I would say that white kids shouldn't be saying the N-word. And I specifically remember Samantha, Leviathan, and Elizabeth ganging up on me on the bus, saying that I just want a word I can keep all to myself, and the N-word can be said by anyone. Who cares? It's history.
That's some crazy shit. That's some crazy shit. Imagine being one of 10 black kids in a school and everybody else is white. And the white kids say N-word and you say to the black kid, man, he should be sad. And the black kid look at you and say, shut your motherfucking mouth. Do not fuck this up for us. She is by herself, y'all. She is by herself, man. They got mad at her for saying that the white kid shouldn't say the N-word. Don't fuck this up for us. Shut up. Anybody can say it. He can say it if he want to. That's what I heard. That's crazy, man.
You just want to gatekeep a word. I'm being basically ganged up by the three other black kids in my friend group.
Gatekeep the word.
Some little tussles here and there. And just petty and stupid stuff that normally happens in a teenage friend group, right? But I still loved it because, like I said, I never really had a big friend group growing up. I only had 1 to 2 friends at most at the time, especially in elementary school and in middle school. So I was letting anything slide. Any disrespect, any shit talking, anything that was like,
Damn.
you know, Nadia, we're going to have to revoke your black card for that. I was letting anything slide. I was a very lonely and depressed kid, especially in middle school, like I said. So I was just taking any little crumbs anybody was willing to give me. But here comes the problem. I would say about like 4 to 5 months after, you know, me starting the new school year, one of the black kids, Leviathan, pops the question, Nadia, what would you do if we pushed you into a bush? Go to part 2. Who the fuck were my friends? Part 2. Okay, we're going to get into the hazing in this part. If you're stumbling across this video, go back and watch part 1. I would also like to mention, I forgot one kid in this friend group. We're going to call him Christian. He was also someone who was in the friend group and basically one of the other guys that were in my grade. So as I left off, Leviathan asked me, Nadia, how would you feel if we pushed you into a bush? Mind you, he asked me that question when we were sitting at the back of the bus and we were going home and it was a rainy day that day. I asked him, why would you ask that question? That's a really weird thing to ask somebody. I'm not sure. Everybody, like our friends that were sitting in the back, were just like staring and being all weird and cryptic around me when he asked that question. And he's just trying to brush it off like, never mind. It was just a joke. We're just talking. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Girl, okay, whatever. You getting pushed in the bush. Oh my God.
A couple months go by, I would say like a month or 2 goes by, and in that time, I'm getting even closer with Elizabeth. I even lent her a copy of The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, which was one of my favorite books I was reading at the time, and I really wanted her to read it. Then the fateful day comes where I was sitting at the back of the bus and we were going home, and like I said, there are 3 stops in the neighborhood. Mine was the first stop in the morning. Elizabeth and Leviathan stop. The other half of the kids, where they get off, theirs is the second stop in the morning. But coming back from school, theirs is the first stop, and then my stop is the second stop. So it's reverse. I had a really good day that day. The vibes were really great on the bus that day. No one was arguing. There was no weird stuff that was going on. Nobody was arguing. Everybody was on the bus that day. No one had practice. No one had cheer. No one had soccer after school. Everybody was on the bus. Because some days, all of us wouldn't be on the bus because some of the people in the friend group had extracurricular activities like cheer, like I said, soccer, football, etc. Especially since it was fresh, fall semester, so they were basically doing football practice and starting off for like the football season. Some of the kids in our friend group were in varsity football. They were really good. Everybody's on the bus. Like I said, everybody's on the bus, the vibes are vibing. We kind of get close to the stop and they all turn around, and I think Ron was the first one that asked me. It was either Ron or Leviathan that asked me, hey Nadia, come to get off the first stop. Like we all just want to walk home together. I've never done that before because, like I said, the neighborhood was huge, and their side of the neighborhood is about 25 to a 30-minute walk from my side of the neighborhood. It was a long walk, and I was new to the neighborhood, and I didn't want to get lost. I'm saying that no, I don't want to do that. I kind of just want to go home. I'm tired. Weasley decides to say, it's okay, we'll just walk home together. Mind you, he lives close to me, and normally I walk home with him, we talk and everything. on the way home. So I'm like, okay, if Weasley's getting off, that's fine. So my dumb ass gets off the bus. And I had a bad feeling, but I ignored it. And this is why you should never ignore your intuition. We start walking. We're walking. We passed the bus stop. We're walking. We're passing houses. They're pointing out whose house is that. I'm like, who lives in that big ass house? Who lives there? Who lives there? And Elizabeth comes and like she puts her arm around me, just like really tight, like just really grabs me. She's like, "Hi, Nadia." Next thing I know, I get shoved so hard into this bush. I don't know who shoved me. To this day, I don't know who shoved me first. Yes, I got shoved twice. First time I went down, I was so shocked because everything went down. I had an Android foot.
Y'all, don't let nobody push y'all. Don't let nobody push y'all. That's crazy they pushed her in there twice and she don't know who pushed her in there. But she should have just knew. She said they was acting funny and weird the whole time, bro. She should have knew better. I just don't understand, man.
But at the time, it fell. The battery came out. The screen cracked. I literally scratched up. Like, I was, like, fucked when I got home. Like, I looked fucked up when I got home. I was also in that kind of in-between phase of, like, skinnying out and also still having a bunch of baby fat. So, like, my clothes are fitting weird on me. So, like, my top was lifting up. Like, I felt like my underwear was out. Like, I looked fucking crazy. And, of course, they were recording. And then fucking Lorax with her stupid dumb ass decides that she wants to be funny. Mind you, already didn't like the girl. And she decides to come and push me again. But this time, I was ready. I literally got up, I chased her down and punched her in the back of the head. What I really wanted to do was really beat her ass. Like, like, I feel like God whispered in my ear in that moment, like, don't do it, Nadia. Don't do it. I'm upset, I'm crying, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm itchy, I have scratches. I break out in hives when I get home. Literally, shit was in my eye was blurry, like, phone screen cracked, like hair a mess, just itchy, having a reaction. It was so bad. Everybody starts yelling, why would you hit Lorax? Why would you hit Lorax? Nadia, why would you hit her? Why would you hit her? Like, oh my God, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. They pushed me into these like hedges. You know those thick hedges that like kind of frame the walkways? They're not so tall, but they're not small either. Yeah. That's the shit that they pushed me into. Thick ass hedges that were close to the road. I'm crying, like I said. I'm basically having a freak out moment because I'm just like, I thought these people were my friends. Why would they do this to me? Like, my phone screen is cracked. I look crazy. Like, what is going on here? I refused to walk back with them. My dad was home that day, and I called. Like, it would have popped my battery, Android battery, back on my phone. I call my dad. I'm like, can you please come pick me up? I mean, he's like getting mad at me. He's like, why are you even on that side of the neighborhood anyway? You're supposed to come straight home. Like, what are you doing? He picks me up. I tell my mom what happened. I'm crying. I'm upset. I had to go take a shower. Literally, my eye was like fucking blurry. There was shit in my eye. Scratched up, had to put Neurosporin and everything. Literally breaking out in hives. And my mom is literally upset. She doesn't know if she wants to be upset at me for like getting off at that stop. Because like I said in previous video, my parents are African. They're kind of strict. So like, they were very weird about it. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't react in a way that your parents would probably react to the situation. But they were more so pissed at me for getting off at that stop. My mom's freaking out because she thinks it's another case of bullying. Like I said, I went through vicious bullying in middle school, and like she would get calls about it all the time, and she thought it was another situation. So she basically calls the school and calls the principal and everything. And I'm upset. Like I'm like on social media trying to like unfollow people, and I go on the Winslow fam group chat on Snapchat, and they're just talking shit about me. Nadia's such a fake bitch. They're calling out parents, because as soon as I called the school went and started calling the people their parents. Like, I think that afternoon or that morning. So it was either that afternoon or that morning, I forget, when I checked the Winslow group chat was when I saw they were just talking mad shit. Holy shit. Funny enough, before I even checked the Winslow group chat on Snapchat, when I first opened Snapchat, I got a message from Leviathan. He was saying, I'm sorry, what's happening? They're talking about you in the group chat, and I'm freaking out because, like, why are they talking about me? Like, what the fuck? Like, what did I do? I'm not the one who got pushed here. My bad. I'm not the one who freaking assaulted anyone else in the group here. Why am I the one being talked about right now? I opened the group chat. They're talking shit about me, saying I was such a fake bitch, and they're calling their parents. It's down to third. And Clark Kent, the little fucking messy white boy, like I said, very fucking messy. He took a photo, I think a screenshot of this book, How to Lose All Your Friends, and scratched out my name, scratched out the author's name, and put by Nadia Ajakum. To this day, I still remember that, because it's just like, you bitches fucking assaulted me. You guys hazed me, recorded it, laughed, and everything. And then you're saying how to lose all my friends. Are you crazy? I don't even want to think about that too hard. Next day I go to school, they call me into the office, they're calling a whole bunch of people into the office, they're putting people in detention. They don't put fucking Lorix's ass in detention. Lorix, for some reason, somehow, even though she was the one who pushed me the second time, they don't put her in detention. They put Leviathan and Elizabeth in detention with me. I get detention, even though I was the one who was assaulted. I know. Lorix's parents are trying to talk to my parents, trying to talk it out. Mind you, her and her parents, they're some really fucking shady people, even to this day. So I'm kind of glad they never even really got to talk to my mom like that, because the schedules were kind of opposing, so they couldn't really have a chance to talk with my mom, and I'm kind of glad, because honestly, now that we've grown up and other shit has happened over the years, there's some really weird fucking people. She, for some reason, gets out of the entire thing because I punched her in the back of the head, oops, sorry, self-defense. I really should have done more. But people start getting detention, people are in trouble, they're talking about me, I'm sitting in the front of the bus when I'm going home, I'm getting dirty looks from upperclassmen, these racist white upperclassmen, I'm getting dirty fucking looks from them. Mind you, like I said in the previous part, I was one of the few black kids in the school, and a lot of the kids in that friend group were friends with upperclassmen, especially when it came to sports and stuff, cheer and football. I'm getting dirty looks from these big-ass fucking senior men, dirty looks from these cheer girls, dirty looks from people I don't even know. The videos all over this fucking school. My friends that were quote-unquote acquaintances that I ended up becoming really close with during the rest of the years in high school, they have seen the video, and they're on my fucking side. Of course. The principal threatens to call the police on Elizabeth because, like I said previously, I lended her a copy of The Red Queen. I'm like, I want my fucking book back, okay? I gave you my book, and if you're a book person, we don't lend out our shit. Go to part 3. What is the...
Alright, y'all. That was something. So, I don't know, man. The story... Let me see. Let me get back big. I guess that's the story. She got bullied a little bit. I guess hazed. I don't think it's hazing, because they was her friends and did that shit. I don't know. Maybe because she said she was basically a people pleaser, letting everything slide. So I guess they bullied her a little bit. She probably was bullyable. You know what I mean? Like some people just got that aura to get bullied. Bullying is terrible, obviously, but y'all get what I'm saying. She let everything slide, basically went along with, she made herself appear weak. And they just started bullying. I don't think that was no fucking joke though. That's not no good joke. That's not no funny joke, pushing her in them big ass bushes. I don't know how she got in trouble for punching our girl in the back of the head when it's a video of them pushing her in the bushes.
Self-defense at that point.
Yeah, so I don't get that, but y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think of the story. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We almost to 1 million subs. And I'm out of here. Trapp Tarell.